Good day to you, my viewers out there. You are welcome to another episode of The Root of the Matter with Bello Ibrahim. Today, we shall be looking at the spirituality of sex. The spirituality of sex. When I say spirituality of sex, what are we trying to talk about? We're trying to look at, just like we said, everything that has a physical part has a corresponding hidden part. So the hidden part is what we refer to as the spiritual part of the physical. Now, when we say spirituality of sex, just like sex, there is the physical aspect of sex and there is the spiritual aspect of sex. That is the part of sex that cannot be conceived by the eyes, that cannot be conceived with the senses. Now, when we say spirituality of sex, what are we talking about? The understanding of sex is very, very complex. Today, we look at sex from the perspective of sexual intercourse. But the truth is this: sex goes beyond that. If we must understand sex, I need us to look at the perspective of life from a stage play. Let's assume life is a stage play. Now, on every stage, there is always a back stage. Just like the stage is the physical, the backstage is the spiritual. Now, the gateway, the doorway between the backstage and the stage, that doorway is what we refer to as sex. The role of that doorway is exactly the role sex plays in this context. That is the passageway from the spiritual into the physical. Invariably, the passageway of creation. I want us to go back into the story of creation. We're meant to understand that on the first day of creation, God brought light into the darkness. And we now have the day and the night. And later also, we're made to understand that the earth was one. That is, the earth was comprises of water all through. That God now separated the up, the top water from the bottom water, and a firmament was created. A firmament was created to serve as the demarcation between the top waters and the down waters. That firmament, the role that firmament plays as that demarcation, as the midpoint between the sky and the earth, is exactly the same role that sex plays in the spiritual side. Now, going further, I need us to understand that everything God created in twos, everything God created in twos is both male and female. Now, take for example, when God separated the waters, the topmost water is referred to as the heaven. The firmament, we refer to it as the sky. Now, the bottom water, we were now made to understand that the bottom water now demarcated into two again. The side that solidified, we call it the earth. And the other side that coagulates, we call it the sea. Now, what am I trying to bring out? The top water, the heaven, is the male, while the earth is the female, spiritually. And what is it? To understand this, all we need to understand is let's dissect further the attributes of male and female. Now, when you look at the earth serving the role of the female, what does it do? it is the vegetative part of the earth. Now, when you look at the sky, the heavens, what does it the heaven does? The heaven is the provider of sustenance. When the sun showers on the land through photosynthesis, it provides for the land. And apart from that, going further, the rain that comes from the heavens onto the land is synonymous to the sperm that is being released from the man to the woman for vegetative creation. Now, going further, when you look at everything God has created in twos, just like I said, everything God has created in twos have both the feminine and the masculine energy. Human being, even we human being, when Adam was created, God had created the feminine side of Adam as at the point of creation. What happened was just that when Adam was caused to sleep, God only removed the feminine that has been already existent in Adam that was now used to create Eve. I need us to understand every of these stories have both physical and spiritual underlay. I need us to also understand that the concept of Adam and Eve in the spiritual context has a multi-layer level of meanings. So we cannot just streamline it to one side, one level of meaning. It all depends on our level of spiritual understanding and exposure for us to conceive and digest the several other meanings that comes within that story. Now, going further, I need us to understand the male and the female energy is inherent in every male, also inherent in every female. Every male has both the male and the female energy, just like every female has both the male and the female energy. And just like even when you look at our body, even our body comprises of both male and female. When you dissect the body over the lateral line, you will realize that the part to one side is equally the opposite of the part on the other side. One is male, the other is female. One is male, the other is female. When you look at what you have on one side of the body, it's exactly what you have on the other side of the body. To tell you that there is more to what the eyes can see. There is more to it. And except we understand all these underlying factors, we will never be able to get things right. I also want us to understand, except we humans create things according to the design of the divine, our creations will not be right. Go and look at it. Both our phone has both the male and the female hardware, the software. Our car has both the male and the female physical and the inner engine that cannot be seen. Even spiritually, physicality is male, spirituality is female. When you look at it from this perspective, you would realize that the totality of creation is factored into male and female. Now, sex. I need us to understand this. No matter the problem we are facing as humans, the totality of our problem, sex is the foundation. Whatsoever problem humanity is facing, sex was the foundation of that problem. And I also need us to understand, if sex is the foundation of the problem, then I can guarantee you that sex is equally the solution to the problem. Because as it is above, so it is below. I need us to get this. Exactly the same door with which we enter is exactly the same door with which we go out. Exactly the same staircase we climb up is exactly the same staircase we come down with. But the truth is this, it's just a change of direction. Whatsoever problem we are facing, it is sexual in nature. And whatsoever solution that is required, it equally requires a sexual undertone. I need us to understand sex is the ultimate transfer of energy. Sex is the ultimate transfer of energy. It is the unification of the male and the female energy. When the male and the female energy comes together, when the male and the female energy comes together, the product of that coming together is a creation of a new life, is a creation of a new entity. Now, where the problem comes in is that when the male and the female energy is wrongly combined, the creation will be a problem. And also, when the male and the female energy is rightly combined, the creation will be a positive creation. I need us to understand sex is the reason for everything. Sex is the reason for everything. Let me go further to give an example. Now, if you observe the heaven and the earth, the interaction between the heaven and the earth, mind you, the heaven is the male, the earth is the female. Whensoever there is hardness, toughness, famine, burden, stress on the earth, what solves the problem? We pray for rain to come. The coming of the rain is synonymous to the release of sperm onto the earth. And the more the discharge of the sperm, the more the discharge of the rain upon the earth will now receive comfort and succor. My brothers, my sisters out there, I need us to understand. It's same with humans. Go and check it very well. Go and check it very well. Majority of the family problem we are faced with is sexually oriented. It's sexually oriented. The level of sexual satisfaction received by our women is insufficient. And the level of sexual understanding that even we the men could comprehend is equally ineffective. I need us to understand sex plays a big role in the problem we are facing. As the Yorubas will say, they said any society that is at peace, it's because the bastard child has not grown up. And who is a bastard child? A child that is a product of an unwarranted sex. I'll discuss more of this in my next video. Till we meet again, I pray may the great Lord open our minds the more, open our eyes to see, and open our senses to comprehend the part of life we are not paying attention to. Till we meet again, thank you and God bless.